In my free time, because I have a lot of free time, I like to collect jobs to do in my free time. And so with these jobs, because they're not like I do, well, they're gigs for me, but they're not like Uber, DoorDash, and stuff like that. They're like where I need to actually be qualified, have an education, have a degree. But there's things I can do on the side. And there is this one job I interviewed for. So I was thinking, oh, this might be cool. I've done this. I've done this at multiple places. I've done this at some of the best places, most innovative places around the area. And then I apply at this one place where like barely anybody goes there. And I was like shocked. They were like only 60 people go here. And they've been around like 10 years and all this stuff. And they invested all this money in here. And then they're getting people from all over the area to go there. But they could only get 60 people that are there. And that just went up this year. Because before it was like 40. And I'm like, okay, this looks like a multi-million-dollar organization that's getting government funding and all this stuff. And I'm like asking questions about it because I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I never realized this was here. And I was telling them how I worked in the field, and I also worked with most of the companies around in the area. And when I mean like in the area, I mean like on that same street. And I was telling them about it, and then they're like, oh, we know nothing about this because after the people finish this program, they move on to these programs. And I'm like, how do you help the people transition to these programs and different things? And she seemed so confused, like she didn't know what I was talking about. Because I'm like, once you get to a certain age, you go to these programs and you stay with them for the rest of your life. And all this stuff, and I'm telling about like what I do and what I've done and how I do all this, and I travel around and I do it in my free time. And she's like, so you need it to help supplement your monthly budget? I'm like, no, because my full-time job pays all my bills. I just have a lot of free time because my full-time job doesn't take up that much of my time. So I'm looking for something to have interaction with people and to go out and do something every day and make extra money, because it's like you never know. I might want to go on vacation tomorrow. I might, or whatever, or just buy something or savings or whatever. And so she's like, you need this job. And I'm like, no, it's just something to add to what I do, because I work for a bunch of different places around the area, and I just like to make sure I have a list, because I want to have a stable list. Because I might be overdoing it a bit much, because I like to have at least like 20 side jobs. And when I mean side jobs, it's like on paper I work there. I might not go there for a few months. I might go there once a year. But if I needed a job, because it's like they offer me work, but I turn work down. So like say if it came to like hard times, I decided to quit my full-time job because I'm sick of it. I have other jobs to choose from, and it's like some jobs I don't quit, because I would have even more, but I quit some jobs because I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. It might only be like a day here, a day there, but it's like, I'm not going to even bother. This is just too much for me, too much drama. And I'm like, no, I quit. Or I don't have to say I quit. When they ask me to work, I just say, no, thank you. Or I just ignore it altogether. Like this one place I went to, I thought it was a full-time job where it was like on call. And they're like, oh no, you can come in like 3 hours a day and we'll pay you $75. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I was told my pay rate was a lot more than that. And I thought I was getting a whole day's worth of work, making way more than that. And then when I found that out, and that was like by the third thing when I was supposed to be onboarding, and then they were like, oh, did you bring the paperwork, all the paperwork you need? And I'm like, wait, what? You never told me to bring anything. So then I was just like done, and I quit. And this place, they told me they're going in a different direction. And it seemed like you were looking for somebody desperate, because when I read the reviews on Indeed, seems like everybody was quitting every year because, or every few months, because they were like, this place is a toxic work environment and they have favorites and they're not very nice people. But then when I looked at some of the staff, they were like heavily tattooed, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a professional environment and it's supposed to give like good role model vibes. And it's like, how are you having people with like neck and chest tattoos? And it's like in a nice, well-off area. And it's supposed to represent innovation. But you have people with neck and chest tattoos and a bunch of face piercings. And I know you're thinking like, okay, what kind of place is this? It's supposed to be a professional office building that deals with the community. And I'm just thinking like, what the hell? But they decided to go with a different option. And I don't know if she thought that would hurt me. It's like, yeah, I have a lot of jobs. And it was like, you're just in the local area of some other places I work in, other organizations I know about in that area. And it's like, okay, you didn't hire me. No big deal. But because it was like, I read the Indeed stuff after and it was like, it's probably better that I'm not here. And then it was like, because I know the area and I'm like, I don't know any of these people that work here. None of these people are from this area. Because some areas, and like what I mean, like the area, I mean like the whole county, there are like no people from there, or they must be like newer people that moved in. But no, because some places in the Bay Area, it's like people know each other from all over the county. It's like because everybody know each other. But and then I had some offers in San Francisco for some other jobs, but I was like, yeah, no. Because like some nonprofits I like, other nonprofits I don't like. I like the nonprofits where you're thinking like, okay, this is too nice. It seems like a scam. It seems like they're scamming because they're not doing any charity work. They're not doing anything nice. And it's like some nonprofits, it's like you look at them and it's like, okay, this looks like a nonprofit. You see broke people, you see all this, and you see all this stuff going on. You're like, oh, that's a nonprofit. And it's like, yeah, I can see it. But then other places you're like, yeah, I don't, this doesn't look like a nonprofit to me. They have too much money. But those are like the nonprofits that use their money wisely and get a lot of nice stuff. 'Cause I've seen other nonprofits where it's like, I don't understand these nonprofits because they're like broke and everything. Because, like, some nonprofits in San Francisco, I've seen some are, like, nice. They have beautiful buildings and all this stuff. And then other nonprofits in San Francisco, and these are, like, the nonprofits that you hear about. And I'm like, why does everything look so bad and not so nice? Yeah, same thing with, like, the East Bay, like, over in Alameda. I'll see some nonprofits. They're, like, so beautiful and everything and all this beautiful stuff, and you would think, okay, this is a place for rich people, but they're like, no, it's a nonprofit, it's for everybody, but only rich people go there. Like the nonprofits that only rich people go to, they look so nice. Yeah, but the job didn't work out. Am I sad? No, because I still have a job to go to the next day. But I don't like to go to work every day. And people think, oh, you don't work that much because you say you don't like to go to work every day. No, I don't like to go to work every day, but I work like 80 hours a week. Do I work every day? No. But I work like 80 hours a week. And I don't work that many days a week. Because the way I work leaves me with a bunch of free time. Because I work a few days back to back in a week. But right now I'm doing a lot of overtime because they asked me to. So I'm up to like, wait, no. Actually, no, I'm at my one job. I work a regular 60 hours a week. And then if I do a side job for the week, sometimes if I do a side job, I could work anywhere from 8 hours to 40 hours, depending on how I feel. So some weeks I might work 100 hours a week, but people tell me I'm lazy because I only work 100 hours a week sometimes. Because I used to work way more during COVID, because for some reason COVID years were my best financial years. Because other people, they were like, they felt so isolated, they were away from people, they didn't have access to like outside and they couldn't find work. It was like during COVID, I was turning down jobs. Yeah, because people kept asking me to work, and I had 3 full-time jobs during COVID because people needed staff, and then my side jobs, because I'm a nice person, my side jobs needed people. So I was working like 7 days a week. But then I ended up leaving one of my jobs because the people were stupid and I felt it was a safety hazard because I had an allergic reaction. They told me I had COVID. And I'm just thinking, if I had anaphylaxis, they would tell me I was having a asthma attack. And it was like, damn, no, I can't work here. These people are too stupid. If I got sick, I might die. Yeah, because they were like, well, nobody else had the reaction because nobody else has my damn allergy. But, yeah, so I got rejected from the job for not being desperate enough. But it was like, who cares? I have like 10, 15 other jobs. Yeah, and one just called me and asked me to come in today. But I was like, no, I'm doing other stuff. But in the end, it all worked out. I'm happy and I'm better off that I'm not there. If you like, watch and subscribe. Bye.